So here we go again. And before I begin, I want to make sure that you are paying attention, your full undivided attention, and you are listening to what I am saying to you, along with my voice. So how are you doing today? Is it hard not having your Zen? I bet it's getting harder and harder and harder to get through your days without having your Zen. What do you do on the days where you don't have your Zen? And is that sufficient for you? Is it? Because you and I both know you need to figure out how to get more Zen in your life. You need it, and you know it's inevitable. So how are you going to create a way for your Zen in your life? You need to think about that. I'm sure you are, but you need to create a way, make a way. Now, for some people, they desire Zen. For others, you can have a whole list of things that you desire. But sometimes when we think of the word desire, or most of us, desire seems like it's something bad, something that we're not supposed to have, something we're not supposed to need, something we're not supposed to want. And why is that? Why is desire such a bad thing? And maybe bad is being too harsh. But when it comes to desire, for some odd reason, people have this impression that it is a crime on some level, that we're not supposed to want something. If you want it, it's for a reason. If you need it, it's for a reason. Now, can you figure out what that reason could possibly be? What are the reasons? What are the ideas that pop in your mind when you think of why you have desires, why you need them, and why you want them? Do you have an answer for me? No, you think it's something just whimsical, right? Something that's not necessary. And again, I'm here to burst your bubble. If you have a desire, I can guarantee you that is for a reason. But we like to second guess, doubt, marginalize, sweep under the rug, ignore, and try to control our desires. And I know why we do that. It's because most desires are something that you think that you can live without. Most desires that people have, there's usually a substitute. There's a replacement. And when you have a desire that you can easily substitute, replace with something else that's next best, that's called an ego type of desire. So you're thinking, what the fuck am I talking about? Yes, what the fuck am I talking about? Ego. You all know what an ego is, right? We all have it. Some have it more so than others. But at the end of the day, we all have an ego. And our ego likes to slot, and our ego likes to put things in boxes. Tiny, tiny boxes. Now, a lot of us, some of us, a few of us have more boxes than we should have. But eventually, when you have too many boxes, I want to know, how do you keep track of the shit? How do you keep track of your boxes? You have labels on them? Are they color-coded? Do you have a numerical system? You have an alphanumeric system? How do you keep track of your boxes? See, that's a very complicated existence. Why you have to box your life up? Why you have to box your desires up? You see, that shit works for a period of time. It may work for a long period of time. But eventually, something's going to come along and mess up your boxing system. A desire that's not ego-based, that's not label-based, that's not judgment-based. It's going to be something that you can't live without. It's going to be something that you can't do a damn thing with. And it's going to be something that is very unfamiliar, enticing, and exciting at the same damn time. So if you guys have not been paying attention, there are two types of desires. You have ego-based desires, and you have spirit-based desires, or I like to call heartfelt desires. Are you familiar with that? Heartfelt desires? So we get confused with a lot of our ego-based desires, and we think our ego-based desires are actually heartfelt desires. And I'm here to tell you those are two different things. You see, a heartfelt desire is something that you cannot substitute, replace. There's no next best, there's nothing. It's only that, and nothing else will suffice. Are you following me? Good, you should be following me. So when you try to confuse a spirit-based, heartfelt desire with your mundane, everyday existence, material-based existence desires or ego-based desires, that's when you start getting really confused and screwed. Very confused and screwed. You start basically mentally fucking yourself over because you're trying to take something that's heartfelt, that's deep within you, and you're trying to put it in a box. You're trying to slot it. You're trying to label it. There is no label, and there's no box big enough to fit whatever this is. So if you can't find a box and you can't find the perfect label, what that would tell me to do is stop trying to label or stop trying to box. You are being captured and raptured whether you know it or not by your desire. And now you say, oh, what the fuck am I talking about? What am I talking about? We as humans have desires. Some are forbidden and taboo. Some are considered quote unquote normal. Others are whimsical, whatever. We all have needs and wants, and we rank that shit depending on what it is and who we are. Now, a number of us, like I said before, can easily find a substitute for our desires, whether it be another person, whether it be a place, whether it be a thing. But I'm here to enlighten you all, to let you know that you will encounter, some of you, most of you probably not, but some of you, a few of you will encounter a desire that is beyond any and everything you've ever known or you could imagine or dream of. It is something that you yearn for so deep that without it, you feel like you're suffocating. Without it, you feel stifled. Without it, you feel restricted. Without it, you feel that you are without life in you. You cease to exist, or you cease to want to exist. It is your life force. It is your energy. And when you have a desire that gives you life, that is a life force that gives you energy, vitality, that should be your sign that there's something that you cannot fuck with. That should be your sign that that is something that you cannot explain. That should be your sign that this is a gift beyond your imagination, a blessing. This is something that you will not find anywhere else. So only a fool, a true fool, would try to make this an ego-based desire. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't control it. There's nothing you can do but succumb and surrender. And stop blaming yourself for happening. What to do? You're lucky enough to have it, or maybe you're unfortunate enough to have it. The fact is, there are going to be things in your life that is heartfelt, and there's nothing you could say or do to change what that desire is. Now, if you are fortunate enough to find something to fit the bill, that fits the mold, that fills that heartfelt desire, then you're truly one of the lucky ones. But most of us won't get that opportunity. And most of us will continue to take our everyday desires, whether it's people, places, and things, and think those are something that is of the utmost importance. But I'm here to tell you, no, there's things above and beyond that. So why do we look at desires like there's something wrong? Because for some reason we have been taught that to have a desire is weak. And when you have a desire, you must control it, mitigate it, chop it up, dissect it, try to make sense of it. Don't let your desire control you. Don't let your desire consume you. And when it's an ego-based desire, I would say yes. Some people eat too much. Some people have too much sex. Some people work too fucking much. Some people run every day of their motherfucking lives, and that's too much. That's called an ego-based desire. Ego-based desires will have you chasing after shit that will give you temporary satisfaction, but you will always be in the pursuit of chasing, in the pursuit of getting. And when you think you got, you really didn't catch anything at all. You're still very much so unfulfilled. But when you go for a heartfelt desire and you get your heartfelt desires, there's no chasing anymore. You are satiated, you are fulfilled, you are satisfied beyond what you can imagine. It's a state of permanence. It's a state of being content, satisfied. Can you imagine what that's like? No, you can't. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, do you? Yes, you do. You know what I'm talking about. You play like you don't know what I'm talking about. But you and I both know you know what I'm talking about. It's something that you've never experienced before. It's something that you thought about, you dreamt about, you hoped about. But you put that shit out of your head because you thought the likelihood of something like that actually ever existing was slim. You've gone so many years on this earth living X type of life, achieving X type of goals, and doing it in X type of manner. And then you have something that pops up on you, blindsides you, that grows on you in such a slow, permanent manner. You're like, what the fuck? How did this happen? How did this sneak up on me? How did this become a part of my life? How did this not fit the mold? How did I miss this? And why in the fuck can't I do anything about it? And I can't stay away from it. And I know I can't stay away from it. So I'm delaying. I'm dragging my feet. I'm tap dancing around what is inevitable. What is written, what is said, what is done. So why would you delay what has been perfectly gifted just for you? Why would you walk slowly to a heartfelt desire that you've had within you for I don't know how long, and it's popped up and manifested in your life, and you're staring at it like it's false, like it's a mirage, like it's an illusion, like you're having delusions, when you know, and I know, that is very much real in front of you. So what are you waiting for? You're trying to see if it's real or if it's not real, if it's here or it's not here, if it's going to stay or not stay. What exactly are you searching for? Is it really what it seems? You see, what seems is some bullshit because you know what it is. Because it is what it is. And it has always been what it is. That is the magic of it. That is the attraction of it. That is the draw of it. The consistency and the perfect fit. Now, where else can you get a perfect fit? And I mean perfection in a relative way. You and I both know a number of you have been around several blocks a few times and then gone to another state and ventured around those blocks, which means you've got some miles on you. So you've been there and you've done that. So if you've been there and you've done that and you know the difference between what's in front of you and what you've had before, and you know there is a distinct difference, who walks away from a gym? Who delays grabbing that gem? And who would deny relishing a gem that you found right in front of you? Who will walk away from that? Who would ponder about even walking away from that? Why would you do that? You have enough intelligence, street smart, business savvy, and everything else to go along with it to know what it is, to know what the score is, to know what's going on. So why are you scared? Well, you're scared because you can't put it in the fucking box. Well, you can't put it in a box because you're not supposed to put it in a box. It's not supposed to be in a box. It's not supposed to be slotted. That is why it's meandering through all different parts of you, your world, and life. Because life is supposed to be beautifully blended and integrated. It's supposed to be harmonious. It's supposed to be complementary and supplementary and very, very fulfilling. So instead of you guys wondering about these ego-based, desires that once you get it is very fleeting, why don't you try searching for something that there's no replacement for? What do you think about that? You can't imagine that there could be something that exists in this world that you desire, and you and I both know that you can't replace it with a goddamn thing. You have to have that and only that. What you gonna do about that? You can't handle that, can you? It's prison and liberation at the same damn time, right? It's liberating to think about, wow, there's something right in front of me that I know is perfectly for me and it will fit no one else but me. But on the other hand, it's like, oh my gosh, to have something that is that right for me, am I missing out on other options? Are there better alternatives? Is where I am where I should stay? You see, that's where people like to stay in limbo, a state of limbo. A state of limbo is a state of misery. It's a state of settling. Why do you want to be in limbo? Why don't you just want to come home, kick your feet up and get comfortable? Why do you always want to be in a state of wondering, is there something better? Is this good as it gets? Why do we do that? Why do we think it's okay to settle? Why do we think it's okay to wonder? Don't you know yourself well enough for what works for you? And if you don't know, trust your instincts. Like I told someone before, your ego, which means you got your good side, you got your bad side, will have you making some fucked up decisions based on some pattern that you've established in your life. But there comes a point in time in life where you need to establish new patterns. There's new patterns. Sometimes you're so exhausted with your current state, you don't even know how tired you are. And your desires are a sign. It's a sign. It's a road sign for you. That it's time for you to get off the freeway that you're on, and it's time for you to shift to different gears. Desires don't have to be seen as a negative thing. Desires don't have to be seen as something that's going to contaminate and destroy you. Desire, like every other emotion, it's a sign. And the stronger the desire, the bigger the fucking sign. Think about what I just said. If you have a desire that you cannot shake, that you can't get rid of, you can't replace it, there's no substitute, you can't do a damn thing about it. But focus on what it is that's going to take care of that desire. That should make you sit back and really ponder what is going on in your life and what are the signs that are being given to you. You see, there's a time in life where you need to shift gears. And sometimes we're so busy and we're so caught up in what we're doing that we miss the signs. Like if you run through a stop sign, someone can get killed. You run through a red light, you can get killed. Your desire is like a yellow light. It's a caution, it's a warning. Especially if it's a heartfelt desire. When you ignore a heartfelt desire that's been with you for a while, for a long while, and you realize that it's been growing and growing and growing and growing, and it's going to continue to grow. Whether you run from it or not, you can't run from this desire. When you have a desire like that, where you can't run, you can't hide, basically you can't run from yourself, you can't hide from yourself, how are you going to hide from yourself? How are you going to run from you? You are always with you. So if you have a desire that's staying with you, no matter how busy you are, no matter how much you distract yourself, no matter how much you try to keep yourself away, and you can't shake it, you can't find a suitable replacement, you can't get something that you already have to step up to the plate and fulfill those shoes, that's called a yellow light. That's called a sign. That is a warning for you to shift gears and read the signs on the road. Now, I've mentioned this in a number of my other episodes, that life gives signals, it gives warnings. And we have a tendency to ignore those warnings because we think we know better because of our ego. And when you do that, things usually get screwed up because you can't stop what is going to be and what is meant to be. But if you're proactive about it instead of reactive, yes, proactive instead of reactive, things are a lot more pleasant, things are a lot more easy. You can't stop something that is going to be. And if it doesn't cause you grave harm and it feels right and you know it's right and you trust it's right, why are you going to fight it? Why do you delay it? Why are you dancing around? Why are you dilly-dallying? Who deprives themselves of a treasure that's specifically geared for you? Why would you do that? You and I both know you are very, very worthy. You and I both know that you feel very worthy. So what are you doing? You know all will turn out fine. You know all will work itself out. You know that. So why delay your heartfelt desire? Why delay it? What you should delay is that ego-based stuff that is temporary, fleeting, and unfulfilling. Yes, listen to what I said. If you want to delay or refrain or keep yourself from a desire, keep yourself from ego-based desires. Those desires that have a temporary fulfillment that takes away from you one way or another and was only enjoyable in that small moment. You want to strive for things that stay with you, that lingers with you, that when it's not in your presence, it still resonates and it still chills up and down your motherfucking spine and it possesses your brain 24/7. How about this? 25/8. That's 25 hours a day, it's 8 days a week. And you and I both know there's not 25 hours in a day and there's not 8 days in a week. It's a metaphor, it's a point. You have already been consumed. You have already been raptured. You've already been captured. So stop with the ego-based judgments and trust your instincts. Your instincts got you this far in life, haven't it? Have your instincts, have they done you any harm? No. Sometimes you need to trust your instincts even when the things in front of you don't look good. What do you think about that? I'm sure you've been in a situation like that, where if you look at your ego and look at what's in front of you, the shit says, I don't think so, but your instinct says, go forward. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Well, that's this type of situation. You know from the core of your being. That means beneath your skin, your bones, beyond anything that you can see, you know that something within you is screaming the hell at you saying, do it, go for it, it's specifically for you. But then you got your ego with your devil on one side and your angel on the other side saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Who do you think is going to win this? Do you think it's going to be a little devil over here or your angel on the other side? Who do you think wins? Who do you think runs this ship? It's not your ego. It's something above and beyond your ego that will haunt you, that will disturb you, that will wreck your world as you know, just to get what it wants and what it needs. Let me say this one more time to you, because I don't think you fully understand what I'm saying. You can dance around as much as you want with your angel on one side and your devil on the other side, and you can keep having them battle that shit out. All you're doing is wasting time and energy. You know this battle, this war, you've already lost it, because there's something bigger that's driving this, something that's more powerful driving this. You know it and I know it. How much energy you think you can have to fight the inevitable? How much energy? Eventually you're going to get tired. Yeah, you're going to get tired. So why don't you save your energy to get to where you need to be much faster instead of fighting it? Your ego can never win. Your angel and your devil can never win. Your ego-based desires, your labels, your judgments, your boxes, that stuff never ever wins when it's going up against a heartfelt desire. Catch that point. Catch this shit. Your ego-based desires will never win against a true heartfelt desire. Heartfelt desires, it trumps all. Always. It always. The question is when. And unbeknownst to you, or maybe you know this already, it's sooner than you think. You see, if your mind is already with your heartfelt desire, your heart is already with your heartfelt desire, your soul and your spirit is with your heartfelt desire, the only thing that's trailing behind is your body, which is already on its way. So, what's the moral of the story? Stop fucking around and stop dilly-dallying, because you know exactly what's going to happen. And just accept it. Surrender to it. First. Second, when it comes to desires, the wanting process of it, People like to think that desires are, light and they're airy, they're just free and they're just wonderful and there's no commitments, expectations, there's no obligations, none of that, right? With desires. It's fun. Some of you like to have your desires in your fantasy world, and it just feels like, you're in heaven. It's a wonderful thing. You can make up this world and what everything's going to be like. Yeah, that can work with ego-based desires, but let me tell you something about heartfelt desires. Heartfelt desires will always feel light and airy, even with commitment, expectations, and obligations. And let me explain to you why. A heartfelt desire, that joy, that happiness, that fulfillment, it stays with you. It's permanent. Ego-based desires, that stuff doesn't stay with you. That will have you coming back for more and more and more, replacing, because what you originally got is gone. It's not sufficient. That's with your ego-based desires. Also with ego-based desires, you have labels, you have all these other notions of how you should be, how things should be. But with a heartfelt desire, there's no perimeter, there's no boundaries. It's open, it's fluid, it's all and everything that you could possibly imagine. You can't put the shit in a box. So even with commitments, obligations, and expectations, what you are experiencing with your heartfelt desire, that is what it actually is. You see, when you start trying to confuse a heartfelt desire for ego-based desire, you can't compare those two situations. They're not the same. They'll never be the same. See, what you don't realize is when your heartfelt desire is growing stronger and stronger and stronger, you have already been committed. You already have an expectation within you that you are going to have that heartfelt desire. Listen to what I said. You want airy and light and all that stuff. With a heartfelt desire, you will always have that because it feels good, it feels right, and that's just what it is. Only ego-based desires make you feel heavy, weighed down, stifled, restricted, confined. That's ego-based desires. That's shit that doesn't fit for you, it doesn't work with you, and it probably should not be in your life anymore. That is where you have problems. But with a heartfelt desire, even with all the commitments, obligations, and expectations, you will never feel restricted. You will never feel stunted. You will never, ever feel that you're not free. Because heartfelt desires, they uplift you, they help you fly, you feel free, you feel full of life. So if you're worried about being weighed down with some other bullshit, you're only weighed down with stuff that doesn't work for you. Something that works for you will give you zen. No matter what you're talking about, no matter what your day is like, no matter what is going on, something that works for you, no matter what circumstances or situations are in your life, it will always work. You will always feel light, airy. You will always feel good. That is how you know that that is a heartfelt desire. That is how you know that there's nothing that can replace, substitute this shit. It's better than gold. And the special thing about it is specifically geared for only you. You and only you. So everybody wants something unique and special that no one else has or will have. When you have that, why not get it? Why are you walking around to see what's going on? Because if you don't know this already, you have people scouting your stuff. And yes, I said your stuff. You have people scouting. They want what you have. You have it. I just don't know why you haven't taken it. Put your hands on it. Put your hands on it. Claim it. It won't kill you. It will actually bring you back to life. Because from what I see, you're missing a lot of zen. And all of us should have a heartfelt desire for your zen. Zen is hard to come by. Zen is something that's priceless. Zen is something that should not be confined. You shouldn't be restricted from having your zen, enjoying your zen, and having zen throughout all aspects of your life. Why would you cheat yourself? Now, you're in the business of cheating yourself. You may be cheating other people. But why would you cheat yourself? You shouldn't. I don't know what other way to tell you. Heartfelt desires and ego-based desires, they're not in the same league. There's no competition at all. And when you are face to face with your heartfelt desire, that is a sign, a divine sign from above that this is for you. This is what you've been asking for. This is what you've been fantasizing about. This is something you've been wishing for. This is something that you weren't certain that could ever be. But you know it is. And it's not something that just popped up in front of you. It's something that's been around for a very long time. And most of the time, you were clueless about your heartfelt desire being in front of you. Now it's in front of you. You know what it is. You know where it is. You know what it is. You know where it is. And you know other people are scouting for it. They don't know they can never get it because it's specifically for you. So if you're still confused, you should not be. This is beyond your ego-based shit. This is something that is inevitable. When there is unyielding desire for your Zen, you need to create a way for your Zen to be fully and truly with you and in your life. So if you have any questions, watch this again and again and again. If you get what I'm saying, you should be at a lot more ease and understand you've been captured, you've been raptured. Succumb, surrender. You will find that this is probably the best blessing that you could have asked for in your life. You may be asking why you deserve it. I can't answer that, but call it your good fortune. So, when I see you the next time, which I'm sure I will, be more courageous, confident, and comfortable. Because it's already been written. It's already been said. It's already done. Until the next time.